Where am I? Who are you?
Your arch nemesis.
Why am I here? Where am I? Why did you use tape instead of a rope?
Why do you keep hating on the MCU?
That's what this is about? I'm sorry, okay? I don't think they're bad. I just think they're...
Say it.
Say what?
Say the MCU is the best superhero content out right now.
No, I can't. I just can't say it. I don't believe in it.
Say it.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
Fine. Convince me.
Superheroes, am I right? They're kind of like a night out after working a really long shift where every customer has something to say and you try avoiding clocks praying the next time you look an hour has passed. They're fun, sometimes exciting, and usually painless, but the whole time in the back of your head you're still a bit tired and can't shake that one mean thing the old lady said. But you can't say you want to leave or they're not having fun because you genuinely are, but deep down you're also kind of not. At least, that's how they've been for me as of late. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is, contrary to popular belief, quite long, and personally, the 20 or so movies and shows have started to say a little past their welcome. I'm not one of those people that say, oh, they're all the same, you know the hero's going to win, because that's lame. Every Christmas Santa visits, but that doesn't mean I get bored when I see snow. Lately, they just started to feel a bit less exciting, and to be honest, I just don't feel as much when watching these movies. When rewatching Endgame, I didn't cry at all. I barely laughed at some of these jokes. It's almost like this content doesn't really affect me anymore.
Whether they understand it or not. No, you're wrong! You are everything I wanted to be!
Sorry, I was just picking up all my emotion that spilled out. I mean, you knew it was coming. When talking about truly emotional superhero tales, a few notables come to mind, and Spider-Man is definitely on that list.
Superheroes have been a consistent cultural phenomenon for more than being money printing machines. Rather, superheroes are popular because, when done right, they tell impactful stories with meaningful messages about larger-than-life characters. Pair this with some good drama, and you have stories that are akin to Greek myths. Tales you tell your kids so they can learn about life without actually having to get their heart ripped out. Like most stories, what makes superhero tales so compelling is their use of a fundamental storytelling idea: beliefs. Every character in a good story has a belief they start with, and in most stories, this belief changes over time through facing conflicts that challenge your fundamental ideas of life. However, some of the most entertaining stories are those of triumph. One of someone sticking to their beliefs and coming out on top, having changed the world around them instead of changing themselves. There's nothing like watching a movie where the character just gets dumped on for 2 hours straight and they come out the other side physically defeated, but with their will still intact.
I'll always have my family.
God, that's good. This is even more impactful when the villain is a twisted image of the hero's belief. That's where the age-old advice of make the hero and villain two sides of the same coins come from. Some of the best superhero tales are stories about characters facing immeasurable odds with nothing but their dedication to a noble belief. And what's more heroing than someone beating their mere counterpart by the skin of their teeth because they believe in fighting the good fight? These battles of beliefs are some of the most satisfyingly cathartic out there. And I believe that no heroes capture this idea better than Spider-Man, the guy that rekindled a love for all things comics, Invincible. All characters have beliefs, which are fundamental views of the world that have developed from past events and shape the way they act in the present. Their beliefs affect every facet of their character. Their wants, needs, and ways of attaining their want all stem from this. In most stories, these beliefs are challenged till the character is forced to change them, thus completing their arc. However, a lot of superhero stories have characters grappling with these core beliefs, losing their faith in them, and coming out on top because their faith in their initial belief is rekindled. This moment of triumph comes in the climax, where after a dark period of losing the light at the hands of the antagonist, the hero's belief comes back to life and gives them the power to win the day. Mostly. You probably heard that the best stories are not fists flying, but philosophies clashing. This is why you should always make your hero and villain linked in some way. They should have conflicting beliefs or philosophies that make them just hate each other. When a film is able to have heroes and villains with strong opposing beliefs, it's setting itself up for a more thematically interesting climax, as instead of another CGI beatdown, they end up being one side trying to convince the other of their beliefs. This makes the movie itself more thematically impactful and significantly fleshes out the characters. It's always more interesting to have characters fighting for something they believe in rather than for the sake of plot. This formula perfectly describes the story of the latest new superhero show. No, not that one. This one. Invincible tells the story of Mark Grayson, the 17-year-old son of the world's greatest superhero, Omni-Man. He's the king of kings, the manliest of men, and in the show, voiced by J.K. Simmons. The comics concluded some years ago, but the animated show has brought it back to mainstream relevancy. I read all the comics, which means I am, by nature, a better fan than others. I was pumped for the show because I knew what was coming, and it did not disappoint. By the end of the first episode, we learned that, oopsie daisy, Omni-Man is essentially a superpowered space Nazi when he kills, absolutely slaughters this universe's version of the Justice League.
What? It can't be. What about his cool mustache?
That's what I thought too, my dear nemesis. That's what I thought too.
Wait a minute. You're arguing for this to be the next superhero craze? It just sounds like another Brightburn, Homelander, Marvel Man, Red Sun, Evil Superman ripoff to me.
Seems like your superpower must be impatience, because I haven't even gotten close to the good part.
Mark is naive in the way that many young heroes are. He's the good-hearted newbie that believes in saving lives because it's the right thing to do, no matter the life, no matter the cost. He demonstrates his belief throughout the show, such as when helping a low-level thug, Titan, defeat his abusive crime boss Machine Head. Even though Omni-Man argues against Mark helping such an insignificant person, he does so anyway, and it doesn't necessarily go well. He sacrifices himself continuously to help others, but this belief is tested when things continue to not go well. When he has troubles with his girlfriend, accidentally kills innocents, and witnesses the true horror of being a superhero, he loses faith. Pair this with his lack of confidence in being able to make any real change, and Mark gets all pouty, claiming that he's only making things worse by committing to his belief of being a hero. But, as we see when Mark's friend's crush is turned into a horrific man machine, there are consequences to his non-superheroing. He's also criticized by people he cares about, like Adam Eve, who left her parents to make some real change in the world, like making this dope tree fort and giving water to those in need. This creates a constant back and forth for Mark where he doesn't know whether to follow his core belief or not. But through the subtext of the dialogue, Steven Yeun's amazing performance, and shockingly for this show, pretty solid animation during his dialogue scenes, it's clear that Mark knows that sitting on the sidelines is wrong. He believes in something truly noble that he's selfishly hiding from himself. He just needs something to really give him that extra push. Enter Omni-Man. Omni-Man is from the planet Viltrum, whose empire has weakened to the point where they had to send out soldiers to conquer planets individually and create more Viltrumites. They believe in only letting the strong survive and having their empire rule. In the last couple of episodes, Omni-Man reveals his true intentions, resulting in a final battle between him and Invincible. This climax works so well for a couple of reasons. The spectacle is amazing, the violence is brutal, the emotion is raw, but most importantly, it's a conversation of opposing beliefs as much as it is a fight. Even better, their beliefs are similar, but have one fundamental difference. Again, two sides of the same coin. Omni-Man believes in saving those in need, but only Viltrumites, because they're superior to other lives, whereas Mark believes in saving everyone, and that every life is equal. Having to fight Omni-Man is the perfect catalyst for the rekindling of Mark's beliefs, as he's presented his worst case scenario, that his idol is actually his biggest villain. This works so well because the only way Mark can win is by finding his belief once again. He must go from giving up on superheroics and pretending to not care about saving lives, to explaining the significance of human life and desperately trying to save thousands. This means that the battle is a back and forth between Omni-Man and Invincible where they're testing each other's beliefs. It's never just a punch, it's an effort to convince the other. For example, the battle is filled with tiny moments of Omni-Man showing Mark how useless human lives are, such as collapsing buildings and, well... Mark comes face to face with the opposing philosophy, meaning his own beliefs are constantly being tested, and yet, he triumphs because he refuses to lose faith. In fact, the only reason Omni-Man doesn't destroy the world right here is because Mark shows Omni-Man his belief that humans are not insignificant. Through appealing to Omni-Man's human emotions, Mark is able to change the world around him and win, admittedly now without a few scars. It's a classic hero's tale where the good guy just does not back down even in the face of the greatest danger he could possibly be facing. Bloodied and near death at the hands of his own father, Mark is still willing to stand up for his noble belief, and that's what makes him a hero.
Wow.
I know, right? Pretty great stuff. So, can I go now, or...?
No, I'm still not convinced. The evidence just isn't quite there.
Darn. A good nemesis does know how to bring out the hero's weakness. Overusing Wikipedia. Fine. I'll play your game. But I'm not going down without a fight. To win this, I'll need to bring out the big guns. Let's talk about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man kicks ass. We all know this. Much like every good Spider-Man film by now, I'm gonna skip the origin story and get straight to the good stuff. Peter, like Invincible, believes in saving lives, that all lives are equal, and that one must do anything that they can to help others, even if that comes at the cost of his own life. We've all heard it before. With great power comes great responsibility. And if that isn't noble, I don't know what is. Sure, Peter's had some change over time. He's moved on from high school, started a massive company, switched bodies, grew some extra limbs here and there. But what makes him one of the greatest heroes ever is how strongly he believed in that iconic phrase, and how he never wanes from that belief. He's known for being one of the most honest, noble, and well-meaning heroes out there, willing to put it all on the line for even the smallest of lives, and no matter what, he never questions that. Hell, Into the Spider-Verse captured this idea perfectly when... Who am I kidding? Just play the clip.
I'll always have my family.
Never gets old. He's the hero that gets back up no matter how hard he's hit, and for the purpose of this video, we'll be looking at the ending of Spider-Man PS4, as I believe this finale pairs well with Invincible's in the way that both climaxes end with a battle of philosophies as much as they do with spider kicks. The ending of Spidey PS4 has Peter facing off against the newly conceived Doc Ock as, per usual, the city of New York is put in danger. However, Otto wasn't always the villain putting this city in harm's way. In fact, he starts the story as Peter's boss and mentor, where the two were genuinely helping people with their gift of scientific knowledge. Making prosthetics, finding cures, they were helping those who needed it before Norman Osborn shut down their facility out of spite. This, paired with Doc Ock having a neurodegenerative disease, motivating him to make his iconic arms that warp his personality, pushed Otto to become a villain and, well, devil's breath. The final battle is gut-wrenching. The rain pours on the electric New York skyline as Peter and Ock wail on each other. And halfway through, Otto reveals he knew Peter's alter ego all along, and still tried to kill him. With a torn mask and equally shredded heart, Peter fights Otto on the side of a skyscraper until he rips out the neural chip, they both crash through a window, and Doc Ock is left unable to move. Despite what the previous clips show, this is where the real fight begins, as this is where the two have an emotional confrontation of opposing beliefs. Much like Invincible and Omni-Man, at their core, Otto and Peter are similar. You can see Peter being convinced for a moment when Otto grabs his arm and says this.
That's because men like us have a duty, a responsibility, to use our talents in the service of others.
They both believe in using their gift of knowledge to help those who need it, that it's their responsibility. But there's one fatal difference that differentiates these characters. Otto believes this intelligence makes him superior and therefore capable of controlling the lesser humans, while Peter believes he is equal to all and humans should be able to make their own decisions. Same core belief, but slightly skewed towards one direction for each character. Again, two sides of the same coin. This results in honestly one of the most powerful lines in any game I've played in recent memory.
Whether they understand it or not. No, you're wrong! You are everything I wanted to be!
It's these lines that show how much more meaningful a fight is when the characters have beliefs they do not diverge from. Much like Omni-Man was to Invincible, Otto was a role model to Peter. But Peter knows that what Otto is doing is wrong. Because of this, despite the pain it causes him, Peter sticks to his belief and leaves Otto, a man he once admired, because he knows it's the right thing to do. Following this, Peter is tempted one last time to go against his belief of helping as much as he can when he lets Aunt May die in order to save New York. Again, we are treated to dialogue that encapsulates everything we've talked about.
I don't know what to do.
Yes, you do.
Peter pretends that he doesn't know what to do, that he's changing for the worse to save Aunt May. but his belief in doing the right thing is too strong, and in the end, he lets go of the one he loves to do what he knows is right. It's a noble sacrifice that embodies the character of Spider-Man, an action that tells you everything you need to know about the hero, that no matter how much it hurts, no matter how much he loses, he will always do the right thing. The phrase "know you're wrong" should be at the heart of every climactic showdown. Every fight is more interesting when there are philosophical stakes at the core. A moment of triumph is enjoyable regardless of the context, but it's made impactful when the hero triumphs because they believe in doing the right thing, no matter the pain it causes them.
Need I say more?
I suppose not. I can't say I'm completely convinced, but the effort was there.
Thanks.
To be honest, I just needed someone to talk to. I don't get a lot of attention in this moist, cavernous, undisclosed secret hideout. Would you maybe want to watch?
Yeah, about that. I actually have to go edit this video, so maybe a rain check on that, or...
Yeah, of course. I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. I mean, kidnapping is the oldest trick in the book when trying to make friends. I guess I'll just, call you or something.
I mean, I could always kidnap you again.
No, actually, I'd prefer if you wouldn't. It wasn't the most fun experience.
Yeah, you're right. Stupid.
So I guess I'll see you around.
So, how about next Friday?
I'll call you.
This isn't the end, Nick.
Hello. Thank you for watching. Sorry this may have taken a bit long to make, but I'm experimenting with a new format, as you probably could tell. Had some skit, live action stuff, and I want to start implementing more of that into my videos, so if you liked it, great. If you didn't, dang, that kinda sucks. But yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for the continued support, and I have a lot of ideas for the future, so stay tuned. Peace.